Hi, and welcome to this video on fractions, decimals, and percentages, often referred to as FDP, much quicker. Now, quite often we'll ask you to convert between the different types. So let's start off with this fraction of 3 first. Now, some of you may know it off by heart. I'll just pop in here, it's 0.6. It's a really bad zero, 0.6. But the way I would encourage you to do it is definitely memorize this one off by heart. 1/5 is equal to 0.2. Pretty easy to remember if you like money. In this country, we have a 20p, and 5 of those is a pound, so 20p is a fifth of a pound, and 20p is 0.2. That's how I used to remember it. Another way is always try and make a fraction out of 100 when you can. Now, to do that, and to keep it the same, so to form an equivalent fraction, I'm going to times the denominator, the bottom value, by 20, which means I have to do the same to the top, otherwise it's no longer equivalent. So these two are equal. Now, why is that handy? Well, dividing by 100 is super easy. 60 divided by 100, bounce the point back twice, we get 0.6. And percent literally means per 100, century, 100 years, centipede, 100 legs, well, that's what we say. So percent, so 60 per 100, 60%, done. So whatever that value is on top of the fraction, if the denominator is 100, is the percentage. I've crowded this a bit, so I'm going to just change colour. So, right, decimal percentage, super easy, right? You can see the connection. So times this by 100, and we get 8%. Divide this by 100, we get back here. So from this one, times them by 100, go the other way, we're going to divide by 100. So 8% is 8 per 100. That is a fraction, it's not a very good one. You need to look at what can we divide this by. You can do it by 2s, but it's better to do it by 4s straight away. So divide by 4 and divide by 4. So that's the answer we're looking for, not that one. 5%, so divide by 100, 0.05. This is 5 over 100. Obviously, that's not really going to be good enough. They're both in the 5 times table. So it's 1 over 25. No, 1 over 20. Nearly. Don't want that one. That's in the simplest form. Never cross out your working though. I'm just doing it so you don't get confused. Right, 7 over 20. Well, let's see if we can make this over 100. Times it by 5, we get 35 per 100. So that's 35%, which is 0.35. Okay, 0.9. So times by 100, times by 10, we get 9. So another 10, 90%. And some of you may know that that is 9 over 10. If you didn't, you'd have 90 per 100 and divide both of them by 10. All right, last one's a tricky one. I'm just going to create a bit more space here. So divide by 100, you get 0.135. This as a per 100 would be 13.5 per 100, and that is not allowed. We can't have a decimal in a fraction. That is just filth. So 135 over 1000 is an equivalent fraction. I've times both of them by 10. All right, they're definitely in the 5s, so we're going to have to make this a little bit better. So how many 5s are there in 135? Let's set up a quick division. 5s into 13 go 2, into 3. 5s into 35 go 7. So that's definitely equal to 27. How many 5s in 10? 2, so that's 200. I know that's in the 3s. That's not, because the digits don't add up to something in the 3s. That's pretty much it. So there we go. There's my answer. So if you get something pretty horrible, make sure you get rid of the decimal and then look to divide. And if you get really stuck and you get to here, that's pretty good. And then you can always type it in your calculator if you're unsure, and then try and get to that answer. Okay, the next thing I want you to be able to do is order fractions, decimals, and percentages. And the best way is always make them into one common form and use a little bit of common sense. So this one is over half. This one is over half as well. This one's pretty much a whole one. So in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and write that one there. So we're going to try and put these in here. Now, the best thing to do maybe is to go for decimals. So 3/5, if we make that over 100, no, let's not do it that way. 1/5 is 0.2, so 3 of those is 0.6, so that's 0.6. This one is 0.62, so we can see immediately the right order for these. Right, 5/8, so again, you can memorize 0.125 is an eighth. If you don't like that, but you may know a quarter halved is an eighth. So all you have to do is half that. That's pretty difficult until you put a 0. So a quarter is 0.250, half a quarter is an eighth, so half that, you get this. And you can times that by 5. Another option, I'll do it down here at the bottom, so we could say, right, how many eighths are there in 5? Well, 0, so add another one. How many eighths are there in 50? Well, 8 sixes are 48, so have 2 remainder. How many eighths are there in 20? Well, that's 2. 8 times 2 is 16, so we have 4 remainder. Add another 0. 8s into 40 go 5. So this one here is 0.625. This one's already done. Oh, and the same thing here. Let's do that again then. So how many 8s are there in 7? None. How many 8s are there in 70? 9 8s are 72, so it must be 8 8s. 64. Remainder of 6. 8 7s are 56. Remainder of 4, and there we go. So that's 0.875. And I didn't need to do that because you can see it's nearer to 1, so I've just wasted loads of time. Great. Right, now if you struggle to compare these, you see this one's 3 digits, this one's 3 digits. Just make them all 3 digits. That makes everything easier. This is definitely the smallest. Then 613 is lower than 620, so let's put that one in there. 620 is now next, so that was 62%, which means this one must have been 5/8. So sometimes it's quite a lot of working to do, but it's worth it, and just always go for decimals, I think, probably best. Right, best of luck everyone.